And once again, I want to salute everyone. And today I am keeping the promise. I'm keeping the promise that I gave to. Actually, Dvarik, it was to you. It was your request, and the course mates, John, Joseph. So it took me longer than I planned, but still, today we will talk about very important thing, and I'm happy you came. I'm happy you want to know something more about such important topic as the final destination, which actually is the beginning to a very new and long story. So, my dears, I would like you to be very attentive. I would like you to be active in maybe answering my questions or sharing your opinion, sharing your visions. The topic of death is probably one of the most unwanted ones because automatically it's associated in our minds with mostly negative things. If we would say, if I would ask you to write me your associations with the word death whenever you hear it, there would be like pain, sadness, tragedy, and so on, which is true. But there is another huge, mega important aspect, dimension to this stage of our life, because it's a part of us, just like as birth is a part of what we call life, death is the same. And I want, please, could you in the chat, whoever knows me, write a plus. Whoever doesn't know me, write minus, so that I somehow know, according to the audience, maybe to say some extra things or some. Okay. Okay, somebody knows me not. Good, good. So basically, those who are present mostly know me. Those who will be watching in recording, well, they will get to know me. I am this basically the topic of mystery, mystery related to life and mystery related to death, has been of very, not major, but of very intense interest for me, I believe, since always. And obviously, I had a lot of questions along the years. And probably due to my good karma, I was given a teacher who is also extremely interested and quite advanced practically and theoretically in the topic of death. My teacher, who is my astrology, numerology teacher, who is my philosophy teacher, who is my spiritual teacher, who is my most loved and the best teacher in the world, Sarvasatyam. He is also a taphophile. Such a word, taphophile. It's the person who likes cemeteries. He's a grave tourist. And he's been also doing his studies related to that. And 5 years ago, he shared with us all his knowledge all together in a beautiful seminar. And mostly my today's sharing will be based on his seminar, plus all the practice I had, all the extra books I read related to this topic, my own experience. I will also add to my today's things. I was very confused, to tell you the truth. I was very confused in what way to make, how to arrange today's meetings. And eventually I took a decision so that I don't stress myself. Okay, I'm a woman, I don't like to get stressed. And in the same time, I really want you also to get the entire, to process, not only to get, but the process what I want to tell you. This is why I decided to separate the whole amount of information and knowledge that I have in two parts, maybe three. So each meeting will be like maybe not one and a half hour. Okay, so whatever I will be able to give you today, I will give it today. Then I will do another meeting next week or whatever. And today I decided to give the most the simplest, not the simplest, but the most probably to satisfy the curiosity, the ardent curiosity of most of you, related to, like the kids. First you give the entertainment, and whoever will be ready for a much deeper dive into philosophy, will be welcomed to join our following meetings. So today I will talk about 4 stages of life and 4 stages of death. What practically happens when we start dying? What happens when, starting with the very hour of the soul going out of the body, what happens in stages, till the very end of the death processes, when everything starts again. And next time I want to give more explanation to how, if we can say physically, the theory, yes, of how on the subtle body, what happens when we die. Okay, the body goes one side, the soul goes one side, but there are things that are transmitted in the next life. So I want to explain that mechanism. And also I want to explain the mechanism of how these not universe is formed, but how this creation is formed, and why actually we, the soul, the non-material beings, ended up being in the material world, why we are keep on being born here, and actually where is our home, where is that spiritual world, where is that place where we belong, and eventually what is the our goals for this, why we belong somewhere we are not meant to belong. So all these deeper philosophical matters we will discuss with whoever will be ready to discuss. Without knowledge of death, any spiritual practice is incomplete and significant. My dears, Buddha said that without the knowledge of death, any spiritual practice and is incomplete and insignificant. And another theologian said that we only die once in life. This is why every time we die improperly. The humans don't know how to die. They die like in the dark. They die blindly. But death, like any other activity, needs skills. And those who develop these skills, they die successfully. So what means skills? Skills is knowledge, skills is practice. Skills means not hiding from the topic, but not constantly, but keep on developing the interest and accumulating knowledge about something that we cannot completely understand while we are alive. there is a story. There was a student and he asked his teacher, "Teacher, what is the nature of the fire?" And the teacher looked at the candle burning, and there was a butterfly, three butterflies. The first butterfly approached the fire, and all of them, all three butterflies, they wanted to know the nature of the fire. So the first one approached the flame and felt the warmth of the fire and said, "Oh my God, like it's so warm, it's so comfortable, it's so nice." So it just approached a tiny bit the fire. The second one approached the fire more and burned a bit the wings. And so she made one extra step. The third butterfly just flew inside the fire and died. That was the butterfly who really knew the nature of the fire, but it just couldn't get back to us and share with us the what it understood, because nobody comes back from there. So we are because we don't like we say, nobody comes back from there. Yes. This is why we have to trust in the matters of studying death, something that we cannot consciously understand while we are alive. Experience, not understand, experience. We have to trust the holy scriptures, and basically, all the holy scriptures, they had quite vast knowledge about death, about birth, about these cycles of being born and being and dying. But for some reason, they have been excluded. Everything that was very obvious, and still there are moments in each book which, if truly analyzed, we can understand that we are talking about being born, dying, and being born again. In Hinduism, is the philosophy, is the religion that has all this knowledge in the most complete form. And it's so important that in the holy book of the Hinduism, Bhagavad Gita, there is an entire chapter talking only about the importance of dying. There are another books that describe the that are dedicated mostly to the matter of death, which is Shiva Puranam, which is Garuda Purana. This is the book dedicated to the process of dying, and many books. This is why dying and giving birth and being born, it's not just a phase. This is a determinant of all our reason for being back here. It's basically what all of us we want. We want to be happy, right? If I would ask each of you, what do you want? You would give me different answers, but eventually you want to be happy. And in a unbelievable way, everybody wants to be happy, and so still so little people are really happy. And most of the people who I would ask, like, are you happy? And they would answer, yes, I am happy. In fact, that would be the answer, that would be the state of happiness, which means I'm not suffering. So for me, this already is happiness. But in fact, the lack of suffering doesn't mean that you are happy. It means just the lack of suffering, the lack of big problems in your life. But to become happy, this is a totally different story. You can only become happy when you become yourself. When you become yourself, and becoming yourself means in this process facing a lot of fears and overcoming the weaknesses that we are born with for a certain reason. So my goal is to share with you this knowledge so that so that it will raise the quality of your life. Because if we don't have the correct, the full understanding of why I'm doing, what is the reason for everything that I'm doing, then our process will be extremely inefficient. For example, before I want to say, and I shared this on the Telegram in a poster, that death is not the lesson. Death is not the exam even, it's the mark. It's the mark that we are only getting at the end of our life. This is why it's so important, and we have our entire life to get ready for that mark in order to really get a good mark. Because just like in the school, for example, you can be very responsible in some intermediate standards, but when it comes to the final exam, I've been a bad student all these years, but it comes this year, it comes this exam, and I will do anything possible just to have a good mark, to pass. Why? Because this exam, the mark you'll have will define your further career, your further whatever you want. The very same here. The mark you will get at that final stage will define where you will go after, will define another birth. So that now when you are born and you say, oh my God, like why I'm born in Lebanon, and why, like, God is not fair, this life is not fair, like why somebody is born in Switzerland and I'm born in Lebanon, why I'm born sick and somebody else is born healthy, why I'm born ugly and somebody is born so handsome, why I'm poor and somebody is rich, why life is so not fair. My dear, this phrase and this mindset, life is not fair, because when you say life is not fair, automatically you mean subconsciously that God, my dear God, you are so unfair. You are doing your job improperly. This is why I'll try being God instead of you, because I really feel that I know better how to fix my life. So, my dear, this is the straight way towards sicknesses, especially cancer. Cancer is fed on the mindset, life is not fair. So I want you through this seminar to understand that life is exactly fair. We have what we deserve. Yes, we might not understand. Yes, it might be very painful. Yes, it might be very tragic. But all we have, it's ours. We deserved it. All the good things that we have, we deserve it. Don't say like, oh, no, it's not me. It just happened. No, it's you. The good things that happen to you, you deserve them. It's you, it's your talents, it's your qualities, it's your good luck, it's your good wife and or husband, it's your healthy kids. They are what you deserve. You did good things to deserve all these things. But also the other unpleasant things are also yours because you deserve them for some reason. So I want you to show today this connection. In Bhagavad Gita, it's written that the mindset that we die in, we are born in the next life. So if you are dying in a mindset, in a wrong mindset, in a mindset of hatred, in a wrong mindset, then you will be born in the next life in the very same mindset. And instead of going further and building you will spend maybe several lives on correcting your mistakes. I want immediately to make a remark, a very important remark to all those who are watching this and who in their mindset don't have the don't accept or don't have knowledge or don't admit the phenomenon of reincarnation. It means that we are dying and we are being born again. We are dying and we are being born again, which basically Christianity, Islam doesn't admit, doesn't support the idea of reincarnation. And this is why it's so hard for people to make this connection between the things that are happening in their lives. Without the knowledge of karma, it's impossible to reach high levels of consciousness. It's impossible because you don't understand, like, everything in your life happens by accidents. In fact, karma is a very precise lady, and everything comes on time and comes right on the destination. This is why, my dears, all of you who are triggered or are irritated or you don't accept the idea of reincarnation, that's fine. It's absolutely fine. You still can listen. Like, I suggest that you still listen this wonderful seminar without getting irritated, and just leave all the knowledge that I'm saying, keep it somewhere on the nearby shelf. And from time to time, when you have life challenges, when you have life situations which your knowledge is not sufficient, you can compare to what you heard today, and it can make some sense. And basically, you can understand that actually everything is basically in all the holy books there. The problem is that in year 223 after Christ, 223. So Jesus died, and all his followers had to hide because they were hunted by the emperor. So they went into hiding, and for 300 years they had to hide. So Saint Augustine, in the year 223, only 223 years passed after Jesus died, and he said, the Christianity that people preach today is absolutely different from what Jesus taught us. The Christianity that is preached today is so much different from what Jesus taught us. 223 years, and it already differed so much. So after 300 years, when the emperor had to accept the Christianity just to improve his power, people came out, and that bonding of Jesus' teaching was lost, because all the disciples were hiding in different places without keeping in touch with each other. And in these 300 years, what they taught, what they added from themselves, the way they saw it, with all the modification and speculation, it became different. 2024? No, I was saying 223. Only 223 years after Jesus died. Saint Augustine, amazing personality. So in the first ecumenical council, the emperor the emperor of Rome, Constantine, makes it official, but the knowledge is already distorted immensely. Later on, in the fifth, like the reincarnation things, the vegetarian things, like they were modified or even excluded step by step for really stupid reason of the mostly of the emperors who were at that point ruling and doing the modification, thinking that their will, the emperor's will, is the God's will, and if emperor decides like this, then definitely God will agree. You know, what Caesar wants, God wants. So in the Gospel of John, in the Gospel of John, in the chapter, in the 9th chapter, the texts, the text 1 to 3, there is described the scene when the disciples were talking to Jesus and they are asking him. There was a blind man in front of them and they are asking him, Jesus, Rabbi, who sinned? Who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? So the man is born blind by birth. He came out of his mom's womb blind. And the disciples ask, who sinned, the man or his parents? How can a man sin when he was born blind? When to sin? Right? Seems unlogical if we exclude the idea of reincarnation. When was there the time to sin? So the Rabbi says, not he, not his parents. It's the third case. He was born blind just to play the role in showing the God's greatness. Yes, the Jesus touched and he started seeing. Then another thing in the Gospel of Matthew, when the disciples ask him, Rabbi, why then do the teachers of the law say that Elijah must come first? They were saying that it was a dischronization, like in the events, they say, no, it's not you, the Messiah. First has to come Elijah, and after that the Savior. So why the teachers of law say that first has to come Elijah, and he still didn't come? So how can you be the Savior that we've been waiting for years? And Jesus says, to be sure, Elijah comes and will restore all things. But I tell you, Elijah has already come and you didn't recognize him, but you've done to him what you'll do to me. So basically, it was the John the Baptist, the Elijah. The Elijah died 800 years before Jesus Christ. So then the Iwan the Baptist came, and then 33 years old, then the Jesus came. So if to read the Holy Scriptures, Holy Scriptures are not to be read, my dears. It's not newspaper. Holy Scriptures have to be studied. And it takes years to study them. Not years. A Holy Scriptures can and should be studied the entire life. The entire life. I have a good friend, and he said my favorite book is the Bhagavad Gita, the holy book of the Hinduism. That's my favorite book, 800 Recipes of Happiness, because there are only 800 verses and each verse is a separate recipe of happiness. So he says, that's my favorite book. That is the only book I want to read. But in order to understand that book, I have to read tens, hundreds, thousands of other books. And the craziness of life and of human nature is that everybody knows that death is there, and everybody knows that once there will come a time when we will die, but everybody still believes, like everybody faces death quite often, but still people believe that it will not touch them. This is why, as I said before, people die without being prepared, and this is why they are getting not very good marks, and this is why again, and they are being born just for, they are wasting time. So my dears, if to start with the stages of birth. The soul. So far, everything is understood, my dears? Everything is understood? I want to make it also like entertaining. I mean, light, not not entertaining, but like light. I want you to understand. Okay, so thank you very much.
It's good, yeah.
The soul. I said today I will talk about 4 stages of life and 4 stages of death. The soul comes to the parents 3 months before the conceiving. So basically, those who know me better, those who took different classes or who communicate with me more, you know, I mentioned this very often, also during the rebirthing, that we choose our parents. Yes, conceiving is the intercourse. So we are choosing our parents. So the soul, according to its needs, starts searching for appropriate parents who have needed qualities, needed destiny, karma, who will give to the soul the needed circumstances. So the soul starts being close to the mother, and the being in the energetical field of the mother, and the mother starts having starts having some kind of feelings that kind of thinking, being more receptive, things are happening. Obviously, not all women observe this because, I mean, you have to be kind of aware or conscious to observe slight changes in your mindset, in your physical sensation, and so on. So the first soul comes to the mother, and the mother's field changes. Then when the soul makes sure that, yes, that's the mom, and the mom is ready, the soul starts drilling the head of the father. And drilling the head of the father means that the man starts experiencing sexual excitement. He starts to be sexually attracted to the woman. Like, that sexual attraction is higher than an ordinary one. Why this sexual attraction is given? Because the man and the woman has eventually to meet in an intercourse. So, my dears, the man and the woman, they meet, and a spermatozoid is entering the woman's body. The woman's body is acid. It doesn't favors the alkaline sperm. So basically, the acid environment theoretically will burn the alkaline sperm. This is why we know that when the ejaculation happens, there are millions, I may be wrong in numbers, but there are millions of spermal cells, but only one single will reach the queen. So the very rest of the herd are there to sacrifice themselves to annihilate that acid environment in the inside the woman's vagina, so that only one chosen taxi who is carrying the chosen prince will reach. So the rest of the spermatozoids are just dying and creating like an alkaline tunnel, giving the way of the chosen one to reach the queen. And the conceiving happens. Like the story is very beautiful. It's a miraculous one. And the first stage of life starts when? Starts 3 months after the conceiving. So during these 3 months, the soul is kind of, let's say, testing. Am I wanted or I'm not wanted? Is the mother, father ready or they are not ready? Like, why this is basically the reason why in Islam is considered that doing abortion before 4 months is not considered sin, or it's not considered it's allowed. Like, I might be a bit wrong in terminology, but it kind of considered that the soul is not soul, like it's nothing 4 months before this. Like there is nothing in your womb, it's just a piece of flesh. Actually, the situation is absolutely not like this. The soul is there, only the soul doesn't live, it's not settled yet in the womb. The soul goes and comes, it prepares the house, the home, the new home for the whole entire 9 months or 6 months which are left. This is why in this period the woman is very tired, because her entire body is adjusting to the new, a life is being created inside her. She has all these nausea, she is vomiting, she doesn't like this to eat, she doesn't, her mood change, her food habits change. Why? Because this soul, which is energetically much more powerful than the woman, starts making the adjustment to the to whatever the soul needs. And sometimes it happened that the woman or the man, like the soul decides that actually I was wrong, it's not the best variant, the woman just doesn't go with the changes I need, halas, not I'll choose somebody else, and miscarriages happen, or abortions happen. Yes, the woman finds out that she's pregnant and she decides that, oh, it's not the time, it's not the place, it's not the man, it's not the child, so she does the abortion. What happens in this case when the abortion happens? The soul has two options. Or it will still wait when this couple next time will again conceive, because he only needs this woman and this man, because the qualities, the life experience that the soul needs now, nobody else can give him. So he will wait. The soul can wait for 5 years, for 10 years, and come back to the same parents. Or if somebody in the world, there are the very same couple which can give exactly same demands that the soul has, then the soul will move to another womb And most probably, this couple will stay infertile. Most probably. I mean, it's very it happens oftenly. So it's supply and demand for souls. Who is supply? Basically, yes, the soul is choosing. The soul is choosing, and it's kind of the auction. We parents, we are kind of the auction. I say that yes, yes. For example, I say, come on. I am a 42 years woman. I'm a vegetarian. These are my interests. These are my physical condition. I am, I don't know, I am playing the piano, I'm reading these books, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm smoking, not smoking. No, I want such a child, or like, who wants me? Yes, so basically, yes, it's a supply and demand. Here also, I would like to mention the contraceptive I think they are calling loops, called loops. Yes, the women know. The women know. Those things that they install inside so that the conceiving will not happen. So here I have bad news that actually the conceiving is happening. Even with these contraceptive loops, the conceiving is still happening, only because of the technical changes. Because of this device, the conceived cell cannot fix on the womb's walls, so it gets eliminated. The pregnancy doesn't continue, but congratulations, the conceiving happens, and it's called abortion. So the first stage, morning pill. I mean, yeah, inclusively morning pills. Because what is a morning pill? It will not prevent the pregnancy. It will what? Abort or exclude, terminate the pregnancy at a very minor stage, instantly. Yes, instantly. But if the conceiving happened, because maybe the conceiving was not there, but if conceiving happened, then yeah, it's an abortion. So the first stage of life starts when from the 3 months of pregnancy. Yes, the 3 months till the moment when the birth contractions start. So basically, these are 6 months. In these 6 months, the fetus is just adjusting to all the to the inside life. He's learning the habits of the mom, listening to the language, meeting the family, the grandparents, the everything. The moment I always say this: the moment when the woman finds out that she's pregnant. This is a fundamental moment in an entire life of the person, because this is the first moment when the child understands, am I wanted or not? And if in this very first moment the woman for some reason expressed negative feelings towards the pregnancy, the baby, the fetus will feel rejected for the rest of their life. And later on, when the baby is born, when the baby grows, when it's already a grown up, there will be this feeling that I don't deserve, I'm not accepting, low self-confidence, everybody's better than me, I don't have the right to live, And with such mindset, there will be no happy relationship and there will be no growth in business, no matter how smart you are. If you buy the on cellular level, if in your mind lives the program, if you were born by the program that I don't deserve to live because my mom said, oh my God, not now, not you. I already have 5 kids. I already have 3 girls. What it's another girl? Like, doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if later on you are born and your mom loves you so much. It again doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but that moment can be, I mean, you will have to do a lot of effort to process, to erase, and to change your mindset and to change the programs in you, in your DNA. No matter how smart you can be, what smart businessman you can, but your business will never grow to the limits that you want to grow, because in your mind you know you don't deserve to live. If you don't deserve to live, then your business also doesn't have the right to live. Doesn't the soul already know this before coming? Yes and no. Yes and no, because the humans have the freedom of choice. This is what defines our karma. The animals don't have karma because they don't have the freedom of choice. They are acting only exclusively according to the instincts. We people have been given this freedom of choice because God gave us consciousness, God gave us intellect, and we can choose. Yes and no. Yes and no, Joseph. So when the contractions start, so in these 6 months, the soul has the memory why it comes into this family. The soul has the memory of the previous lives, of the previous experience. But when it comes the time for the birth process to start, when the baby's head already enters turns head down and starts entering into the basin under the effect of hormones, under the effects of the contraction of the womb, the memory is getting erased. Until that moment, the baby, the fetus has the memory. When the contractions start, the first stage of birth of life is finishing and starts the second one. The second one is kind of a short one. It starts with the contraction, and the cervical channel the cervix is still closed. So basically, the baby already enters the channel, starts kind of moving towards the light, but the door is still closed. The cervix still didn't open. Obviously, this is a painful. It's a very painful process for, obviously, for the woman, but mostly for the child. Always, my dear moms to be, remember that the birth is for the child, not for yourself. Don't be fooled by your selfish lack of knowledge. You are there for the child is being born. You are there for your child. Don't choose cesarean if it's not needed. Don't be fooled by doctors. Educate yourself. Don't choose epidurals. Don't choose any other of chemical intervention if it's not needed, if it's not a matter of life saving. Do it naturally. Be there for the baby. Understand that for the baby, this process is much more horrible than for you. So once the cervix starts opens, this is and the baby starts moving into the channel, this is the third stage of birth, which ends with the physical birth. Okay, now the first 3 months of a baby's life is of utmost importance. It means first 90 days. First 90 days is considered the fourth stage of life, because this is the time, this is kind of the, I don't know how to call this period to give it the marvelous importance that it has, but this is the, my dears, please listen very carefully and share it with all the parents or parents to be, and you, whenever you will be a parent, just remember this. Whatever misdoings, your mindset, whatever mistakes you have done during the pregnancy, or your mindset wasn't right, or maybe, I don't know, maybe the birth wasn't as perfect as you would like to be, you have the chance to bring a lot of corrections during these first 3 months. You can if, for example, I will not open this topic because I will not stop, but I will be brief. Every day of these 90 days resembles a year of life in the future. So, my dears, by observing and by writing down everything that happens to the baby in these 90 days and keeping these diaries, in the future, whenever you have a dilemma of what is happening in my child's life, you can just open your 90-day diary and you can see, okay, this day no happened this and that. So it's very important to be extremely careful, be extremely helpful and conscious in these, at least in these 90 days. And when we think of what is actually in reality happening, then we said, like, come on, poor babies, like, come on. Nowadays, parents really don't give a single chance to that baby to be happy in their life. They are blabbering that, oh my God, you are the most expensive thing in my life, but in the fact, they cannot do a slight effort to really offer to give the support to this child in the most fragile period. And instead of going to work when the baby is 40 days and leaving him with his lovely grandmother who loves him so much, or we have a very good nanny, okay, the consequences are also according to your efforts. My dears, we always have a choice. We always have a choice. Everybody has a choice. So then, what happens then after the 3 months? When the baby is only 3 months old, you know what follows? It starts the first stage of death. Surprise, surprise. When the baby is only 3 months old, starts the first stage of death. Why? because at this age starts the hormone telomerase, if I said it correctly. This is the hormone under which effect the cells in the body already start getting aged, start aging. So basically, starting with 3 months old, the process of aging in parallel with the process of multiplying and growing starts. So this is when the first stage of death starts, and it ends with the proper physical death. Now, when death starts, we are given for a lifetime a certain amount of energy. It's not unlimited. It cannot fluctuate during the life. What you were born with this amount of energy, life energy, this is what you have to manage during your life. You can never increase this amount. You cannot increase, my dears. This is, please think of this. With all the stupid habits people have, with all the wastage of time people have, with all the using this material body in such a stupid way, there will not be another body in this life. Just take care of your body so that later on, when you will be 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, your body will still be your good servant, carrying you on your own food and so on. So when only 30% of your life energy is left, next time in the next class, I will say about this life energy, kundalini energy, and so on. I will explain this in the next class. But in this time, I will say that when only 30% of your life energy are remaining, then you start, your body starts suffering. You start basically, the body cannot handle anymore, and only when 7 or 8% of energy are left, when your mobile only is left, the battery is 7 or 8%, the body physically dies. I will say why these 7-8% are needed for the further processing, but the soul exits the body forever when there are left only 7 or 8% of your ojas, the life energy, white ojas. Okay, this is when the second stage of death starts. It lasts for 9 days, and you see in all the religions these parameters are met: 3 days, 9 days, 40 days. So this is the time when our subtle body separates from the material body. Our soul is connected to the material body through the silver cord. Okay, through the silver cord. During the first 3 days, this silver cord becomes less powerful, less intense, till it completely breaks and the soul just separates from the physical body. Maybe this is why in Christianity it is the habit is of burying people on the 3rd day. Okay, so we have, this is, I tried to make it somewhere visual for you to understand. I hope it will somehow help. So it's our physical body. Outside and inside, we have prana energy. Outside prana is called aura, and everybody knows about aura. Okay, inside energy, inside we also have the prana. Prana is flowing through our meridians. Meridians are all those energetical channels which, do you remember those who numerology groups and so on, we are connected to the 350,000 rules we have to obey in our human form, in the life of a human, in the body of the human. We are related to 350 rules. It means these rules are controlled by certain entities. Let's call them angels, demigods, whatever you want. And the moment you break the rule, you get, a salute from a certain demigod according to what kind of rule and what kind of aspect that rule was controlling. About this, I will speak in the theory part later on. So there are 350,000 meridians in your body, the inner structure of prana. So when we are dying in this, in the body, out from this picture, if we remove the physical body, we will only have these two prana shields, which during these 9 days are uniting. This is why very often we, I mean, I don't know your experience, but very often people, relatives, close people, they can see what we would say the ghost, yes, but they can see the deceased person, but without a physical body, but exactly the clone, the hologram. They can see it, but just, and they can see this body going through the walls like it's not an impediment. What happens? These two prana shields, they just connected and became like in a powerful energetic structure. The outer, so it's very easy, my dears, in these especially 9 days, to connect to the deceased one. It's very, because the physical body is not there, there is no impediment, there is I would like to say, like the speed of the soul, which is faster than the speed of the light. The moment you remember him or her, it will come. This is why it's so easy to get into contact with deceased people who were dear to you. Only one condition should be there. You should have no fear. You should have no fear. More than that, the person also comes to you. And again, you should have no, I mean, the person, this energetical, yes, the person only on the energetical field, field comes to you. I will talk about, let now, so that I don't forget. For example, I in my life, I only had the experience of 3 deaths of close to me people, my family. And basically, first was my father. He died 15 years ago. And that was the first time when somebody close relative, like death touches you so close. Because before that I said, oh, death, it's something like it, like I said before, we all know it's there, but we think it will never touch us. So that was the first time the death touched me, and I realized that, oh my God, I also can die. basically, if I lost my father, then I can lose at any given moment everyone. That was the first time in my life when I got afraid of death. My first time, only 15 years ago, because that was the first time when I really experienced it. And I remember that I didn't know that my father was dying. I didn't know when he died. But later on, when I reconstructed the dates, so I was going with my husband in the car, and out of no reason, I felt like the father came in my mind, and like I was hearing his voice, and there was like an inner dialogue that I was not the initiator of that dialogue. He kind of, I felt like he is apologizing or asking for forgiveness, or, and in my mind I'm asking, what if somebody would ask me, Rada, what do you think about your father? And I'm asking myself, and I'm answering, and I'm saying that basically there was so little of my father in my life, but like still he was the best father, and he gave me so much confidence, and he was loving me so much. No, 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 no. So I was kind of defending the appearance that actually father was not much there in my life. So I was kind of praising him and praising and praising and sending him gratitude. And next day I find out that at that time he was just freshly dead, and his soul came to me, and maybe asking for forgiveness, maybe, I don't know what was in his mind at the soul, but I definitely felt him. Then the second death was my husband, and also in those first 40 days I was feeling his presence physically in the house extremely well. I mean, again, in such moments you think like, no, no, Rada, you see him, but like I can say I saw him, not only felt him, but also I saw. So the first 40 days, because after 40 days the soul departs from this not material world, but from this realm of earth. Okay. So and then was my grandmom, who I loved so much, and she loved me. And I also didn't know when she was dying, because she asked my auntie, like, don't say anything. I want to die I want to die peacefully. So you cremate me, and after that you tell to everyone. But in the moment when she was dying, later on I recollected, and at that time I was feeling, thinking, and talking to her, that just the very same as it was with my father. This is why, if you don't have the fear, you can communicate with the people. It's very important that, here I'm moving to this simple drawing, but which clarifies our big input, our big participants into the soul's trip further. The moment where our soul is dependent on us. So, my dears, the body is not there anymore. This part is not there anymore. It's only the outer prana and inner prana layer. When the physical body disappears, it means when the person dies, the person feels everything like before. My dears, the person, when I say the person, understand the disease, that body, that entity. It's like it's not seen for us, but on the level of senses, the person feels everything, feels the hunger, feels the thirst, feels the need to smoke if it was a smoker, feels the fear, feels like the soul feels everything. This is why, my dear, there is such a very I think in all the I know in Christianity for sure, I know in Hinduism, and I believe in Islam it's the same. People are fanatically fixed on offering food putting it on the grave. In Christianity, always after the burial day, for days, they will, I think for the 40 days, maybe I'm wrong, I'm not that good in this, but they will keep on going to the grave and leaving a glass of water and a piece of bread on the water. Later on, when people got perverse, they would just leave a glass of very often of alcohol and a piece of bread. But no, that is wrong. It was water and the bread. So after 3 days, the outer aura disappears, and we are left with the inner pranic shield. This inner pranic shield will stay there for 9 days. And it's like, do you remember when I was small, I would have a coat. I mean, that was the Soviet Union tradition. There was one coat and two coats for the it would a coat, and inside there will be another coat which is buttoned to the I mean, those two coats would be buttoned between them, because for the cold seasons there will be two coats. For one season the inner coat would be removed and you are in the very light spring coat. So there will be those buttons uniting the two coats. The very same happens here, my dears. During the 9 months, this inner part has to unbutton and has to unbutton. So basically what are the buttons? The buttons are 49 chakras. My dears, we don't have 7 chakras, there are 49. 7 chakras are the main one that we are always hearing about. But in fact, there are 49 buttons, 49 chakra. This is what I tried to present on the drawing. Now, every single button is not just a simple energetical field, but it also contains informational load. It means that our mindsets, our right mindset or our wrong mindsets, our deeds are imprinted as informational, energetical load in these 49 buttons. And the point is to neutralize them. The plus buttons, the high vibration chakras, are automatically, easily unbuttoned. But if the person lived a wrong life with a wrong mindset, full of wrong deeds, then there will be a lot of negative informational loads in his pranic body, subtle body, our body. That, like, you see, nothing disappears. People say like, oh, come on, you don't take anything with you, like relax, live your life, like we are not taking anything with us. My dears, this blouse, I will live here, but all the rest, my deeds, my potency of health, my potency of wealth, my potency of relationship, everything I will take with me, it will continue. This is why in this life we have to be healthy, beautiful, good relationship, and wealthy. It's a must, and it does not go into conflict with spirituality. So it has to be neutralized, and those loads, those buttons that are negatively loaded, it means in those aspects or in those things the person didn't have enough good karma, didn't have enough of awareness to complete, to fill them with good deeds, with prayers, with charity, with serving this, with being happy, with serving this life, then they will not unbutton. Unless, my dears, and here is comes our road. Unless we help to fill those negatively loaded circles, with positive energy. How can we do that? By talking good about the person. This is why in Christianity, on the third day, on the ninth day, on the 40th day, in Islam, the first 3 days, people continuously read Quran, continuously. I think they have to read it once, or maybe like there is something continuously being done for the sake of the deceased one. In Christianity, for example, in our Orthodox tradition, people invite, I mean, the family of the deceased invites relatives, friends, whatever, invites everyone and feeds them. And obviously, when they invite them, they are saying, this, please receive this food for the sake of the soul of somebody, this name. And all this gratitude that people feel, all the memories, good memories that people are remembering about these people go and feel, neutralize that negative load. Okay, this is why we have a proverb. I mean, it's not a proverb, it's a saying about the deceased: or you talk well, or you don't talk at all. Because imagine if the person was a bastard and there is literally nothing good to talk about the person, and you say, ha ha ha, and alhamdulillah, he got what he deserved. He was so bad, and he cheated that, and he did that, and he did that. So you are just adding this negative load. Such a soul cannot depart, my dear. Such a soul cannot depart. He will keep on staying here and suffering. This is why it's important to through our prayers, through our, for example, in our Orthodox tradition, we also have this habit of giving a gift. And we say, please receive this. This is in the memory of, and you call the name. And the person say, God forgive him, and or rest in peace, and the name. So all these loads, all these currencies, they go in the account of the soul. And by this, making the soul progress easier in the non-material world. And all the anniversaries, all the I don't know, death's days, all these are extremely important. Taking care of the graves, like it's so much important, because the relatives, if we are talking about relatives, their state after death also keeps on impacting us, and not only us, but 7 generations, my dear, of our ancestors. If only we could know the graves of the 7 generation, if only we could take care of those graves, you would see in the no matter time how much your financial situation would increase, because this is the fastest criteria of of any kind of changes. Otherwise, I would say another aspect of our life. But so that is the point, to talk, to remember, to mention all the positive, good things about the people, helping them, I mean, helping the soul go further, because unbuttoning of these buttons is also very it's very important. Joseph, I don't understand the relation between financial abundance and the deceased. I basically mentioned not the deceased, I mentioned the 7 generation of the people, our ancestors. The relationship is just more than direct on our own energy, of the energy of just you, Joseph. Okay, you say, I don't have family, I don't have mother, father, it's just me, I'm so smart, I'm very smart, so I will build my empire. You cannot, because when you say like, I don't have family, I don't care, you are only acting on your own energy, on our own energy. We can only survive, we can only have a job, and we can only satisfy our needs. We are only on the first chakra. First chakra is the survival chakra. It's the word you live by, the word I need, I must. When you start admitting your ancestors, when you start admitting their energy, that time you start creating, you start having more resources when you can create. This is why, in order to create the business is the continuation of you, and it can only be as big as you are. Your potency is, it doesn't matter what books we read and how much we know in a academical matter, but if your capacity is just a glass of 100 milligrams, milliliters, can you hold a liter in a 100 milliliter glass? You cannot. That is your own energy. When you start adding the energy of your ancestors, this glass starts growing, becoming larger. That time you have so many resources that you can start saving them, start serving the humanity. Now, there are 6 types of souls. There are 6 types of souls that lost souls. They are not living this realm. So what these are the souls who cannot pass this barrier of 9 days, and they are stuck on earth. All their desires, all their needs are preserved, but are not satisfied. As I said, they want to drink, they want to eat, they want to do all the things they did, maybe to drink alcohol, maybe to smoke, maybe to, like, they, all their needs are preserved, but they don't have a body to satisfy them anymore. And this is why they are suffering. So what are these categories of souls? Those are aborted souls. I already mentioned about them. So basically their house is destroyed, and they are stuck here till the moment when these parents will conceive again, or they will find another appropriate parents. The second category of lost souls is the souls of suicide, people who committed suicide. People commit suicide for one reason. It can be said in one word: people who lost control. They couldn't control their life anymore. And basically, they couldn't control the difficulties in their life anymore. And other people will say, come on, what difficulties? He was rich, he was famous, or he was, he was nicely married, or whatever. We will always judge, like, come on. But there is some inner life happening in a person that, anyway, this is another topic. The person couldn't handle, and the person decided to escape the difficulties, the problems. And the person says, I don't know, I don't see another child, I cannot handle it anymore, I will kill myself. And they kill themselves. But surprise, surprise, it doesn't help, because they feel everything they felt before, and more than that, they are not leaving. They will keep on being here till the moment when they reach the age that was meant for them by birth. So if a person commits suicide at the age of 25, but he was meant to live 80 years old, then 55 years, that soul will be stuck here, having all those needs and being impossible to satisfy them. So it's this is why, my dears, the church, at least church, I don't know about other religions, but in in Christianity, the church has a very, I would say, blaming, angry, even aggressive, I don't know, attitude towards the people who committed suicide. They are not even buried. They are not allowed. I mean, on these people, no religious rituals are done. The priest will not come to I don't know, to do the rituals, and they are not allowed to be buried on the cemetery. They are buried outside the cemetery. This is the how much the people would be scared to commit. So, like, I'm thinking that church took this attitude in order to really make people aware, to get that fear in them against such an act as suicide. Then next category is the souls who committed mass genocide, who committed massive mass killings, crimes, maniacs, tyrants, and the um, false teachers, teachers who preached a science without God, or who did wrong teaching. So these souls, attention, will be stuck here till the last victim of theirs will not forgive them. Can you imagine, like, what kind of I don't know. Don't do like that. You just want to say, like, come on, don't do like that. It's not worthy. All those greed, all that ambition, all that, it's not worthy, because it doesn't finish with death. It doesn't finish, it continues, and it's not worthy. By the way, the words of Karl Marx, and Darwin were mentioned in the Puranas, in the Hinduist texts, which were written 4,500 years ago. There was written that false teachers will come, but the name were like Haidt, Marx, and Darwin. So everything is known and everything is repetitive. Then these souls that died during the sleep. Now you will say, oh my God, so many souls, they die during the sleep. Actually, no. You know, there are old people, or there are, like, not even like any kind of people, and, like, you know, they went to sleep and they died. And usually about such people, what will we say? We say he died in the sleep, like he was sleeping and he died. Actually, no. Most of such people, they wake up before they die. They wake up. Why? This is a blessing and a chance from God given to such a person, to giving him the chance to remember about the most important thing before they die, about God. Because of what you think before you die, there you go. And you would say that, oh my God, it's so easy. Like, that's all you have to do, to think of God before you die, and you go to heaven. Done. My dears, it doesn't happen. If you haven't practiced God during life, believe me, you will not remember him in your before you die. You will remember your children, you will remember your money, you will remember your enemy, you will remember all those dreams that didn't come true. You will say, oh my God, I still want that, I still want that, I still want that, I still want that. And here is what I've written you, that it's so important, this again tradition of last wish before the death sentence. Why do you think they are like, nowadays obviously they would forget the meaning, but why the people are given the last chance before death, of a last wish, so that the person will not think before he dies about that cigarette, about that burger, about that, I don't know, whatever they are allowed. it's kind of the chance, okay, take this wish, satisfy it in this life. And before you die, in that very important moment, the most important moment, the mark, the exam, that would be the exam, the moment before death is the exam, and death is the mark. So in the moment of the exam, you will be really focused of what you need. People are afraid of to die. And when person is afraid to die, they will think about, oh my God, I don't want to die. I want to live because 1, 2, 3, 25. Ah, you want to live? Okay. Then be born again on this earth and keep on having the material bodies. And you would say, what's wrong? Okay, I don't mind. Next time we will talk about this as well. Why would we mind being born again on earth? Like why is that so bad, let's say? Because there are better places to go. It's like being in the living in a dustbin. You know, people get adjusted even to prison. A very decent person, very educated, very unguilty person, and being shocked to get for some reason in the prison. But later on, the person will adjust. And by the way he's out of the prison, most probably he will say, actually, there was a lot of good things there as well. So we will adjust to everything. Living in the rubbish and the dustbin, we will also adjust. But it doesn't mean that this is the place where we should tend to come back. So it's important to wake up before we die. This is why it's not good to die in coma. It's not good to die in the sleep. It means we've been taking away that chance. We did something wrong in this life, that we haven't been even given the chance to remember God. This is why, you see, my dears, it's so important. It's so important to be born in loving hands and to die in loving hands. It's so much important. So whoever dies, whoever is born at home, whoever is dying at home, this is really criteria of a very good karma. When you die in your loving hands, or when your dear ones, they are dying in loving hands, even if it's in the hospital. So for such souls, the correction is relatively easy. Usually they start coming in the dreams or in the thoughts, but mostly in the dreams, to the relatives, and they are asking for something. They are asking for food, or they are asking for clothes, or they can come, for example, they can come and you see that the person feels very bad. Like, you see, the person looks, not feels, looks very bad, or the person seems like being very cold, or the person wants to eat but like doesn't have, like, you feel that person doesn't look good and you kind of understand why. Or even the relative comes and asks in the dream for something, like, give me this, give me that. So when this happens, when you wake up, you just go, and if he asks for food, you just offer food to someone, to the neighbors, to the strangers, to the beggars, whatever. And you say, in the name of for the sake of this soul, if it's clothes, again, you gift a clothes, some clothes to someone, and you give, this is goes into in the account of that person. Also, another category is the souls whom the family doesn't let go. Obviously, we've seen this in the movies, we've seen this probably in reality. If you would go to the cemeteries, so this would be like a very common scene when you family is very much suffering, and they say, oh my God, don't go, please don't go, I am not letting you go, God, don't take him, please don't go, for who you left me, no, 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 what I will do without you. And the grief is so heavy, and that pleading like, please don't go, don't go, don't leave me, don't go, is so hard that really it makes the soul be stuck here, and the soul is suffering very much. This is why, again, just like in the case of birth, when we said that being born, it's the process, it's the process for the child, not for the mother. The very same when the person dies, people are selfishly focused on themselves. Oh my God, what will I do without you? Oh my God, how could you leave me? Oh my God, no, no, no. But in the fact, the soul is in a much worse situation. Forget about yourself. Just focus on what is happening to the soul and do all the needed preparation so that we make it easier for the soul. Of course, the next category is are people who died without anybody knowing about that. So basically unknown. They died unknown. Maybe they froze, maybe they disappeared, maybe they, I don't know, they died in an accident and nobody from the relatives knew, so nobody could do all those rites in order to help the soul depart. And the last category is the category of the people who were practicing black magic, who made agreements with the dark forces. These are a very special category. These are the smartest ghosts. These are the smartest ghosts because they already know what is happening. They are the most aware in their state of this. And so what happens during life? People have desires, and very often I believe each of you once said, like, I would give anything for this glass of water, or I would give anything just to go out with her or him, or I would give my life just to see you one more time. I would give my soul, just I want this Bugatti or whatever, or this burger or this. Like, we are just talking, right? But we are not alone, my dears. And around us, there are entities who might say, oh my God, the very same auction, somebody selling the soul, I'm taking, I'm taking. And they will give you everything you want. And this happens without you being aware. But what if people intentionally, they are just saying through different rituals, they are making agreements with dark forces, and dark forces don't care about the ethics. They will give everything the person needs, but at the end, the person will have to pay. With what? With energy of life. This is why such souls die in a huge pain. Such souls suffer, like, they die in a horrible way. And when they die, they are stuck here in the form of those ghosts. And very often, schizophrenia on the level of energetical, not spiritual, of the spirit's energetical level, is esoterical level, is the double entities. There is an entity who entered the body of somebody else. Who can enter such bodies? These souls. No, they do not become dark forces. They don't have the potency. they are only the slaves. So now they are smart slaves, but they are stuck here. So they say, oh my God, like I still want to drink, I still want to eat, I still want to, I don't know, do something. I still want power, and because I don't have the material body, I'm powerless. So they are searching for a material body. So they enter the bodies of people who are of low consciousness, in the state of drunkenness, in the state of any other intoxication, drugs, or so on, who have no strength of will, who are very weak people as will, as mind. So these entities enter. So very often we see that what is schizophrenic? Here there are two people talking with different voices, even different voices. Even so, these ghosts, these souls are smart enough to be able to enter another body and to feed on that body. And they very often they just change the habits of habits. This is why you see. Have you ever heard that, oh my God, there is a ghost in a temple, in a church, in a mosque, or like in a saint's house, or in a house of good people? Usually not. Usually we hear that, you go into a house of very bad people, or maybe drunkards, and you feel, oh my God, the energy is so heavy, like you can feel there is someone, because those entities, they need such places. They will not stay in a place where holy names are pronounced every day, when you have the image of the saints, of Jesus, Saint Mary, holy books, name of Allah written. Like they are bothered. They cannot surpass such places. They don't feel comfortable there. They stay hungry there. It's not their type of clients. So this is why, by maintaining a certain level of cleanliness, not only physical, in your house, physical cleanliness is achieved with cleaning your house, water mixed with a bit of milk. It's the best ever way to cleanse the house from this kind of energies. Pine tree oil, essential oil cleansing, also just cleans everything away. The mixing the water with a bit of dry cow dung and cleaning the floors, or spraying around the house, also pulls everything away. Bells, incenses, prayers, all these things, they are just cleans the house. And if somebody died in the house, in your house, then definitely you have to clean. You have to remove the mattresses, you have to remove the pillows, the bed sheets that the person died. I mean, ideally is to remove the furniture, but okay, it's not always possible, but at least to remove the pillows, the mattresses, and the bed sheets that the person died on. It's kind of the minimal must. Also, when if when there are less, so the person died now, the first 2 hours, the soul is kind of asleep, like kind of anesthesia, call it whatever you want, but the soul is sleeping, the soul is not doing anything. First 2 hours, these hours, it seems like, are given for the family to get out of the shock, to go through the first shock, crying, killing themselves, where you left, come back, like all these dramas. And after 2 hours, the soul is kind of getting back to its senses. And generally, the soul is very afraid. They obviously, there are old souls, there are like already professional souls who already know whatever. They know what bus to take, to which station, how, like they know everything. They don't need much assistance. But there are also souls who, not everybody is like this. So generally the soul is afraid. Generally the soul needs to be guided. This is why after 2 hours, the relatives or somebody, maybe in shifts, they have to be there and to keep the company to the soul by talking to them, by praying to it, by always keep, the best is to keep on pronouncing the God's names in whatever tradition you are, and keep on talking to the soul, like go for the light, everything is fine, this is how you feel, like whatever you know, but just to make what in your mind you think that would make that soul feel more in peace. We love you, you are here, that is only transition, we are not separating, everything is fine. And the most important is to guide the soul, um, is to guide the soul first, preferably not to allow the soul to go to the morgue if the person, if the body was taken to the morgue, where there will be done the autopsy and everything. It's the soul sees, and when the soul sees, it doesn't understand, oh my god, this is my body, this is my everything, like I'm afraid, like not, let's say, not to allow the soul to go to follow the body, but to stay here and to guide the soul, please follow the light, because now the soul has to go out of the body and to follow that tunnel, yes, that tunnel with the light at the end of that tunnel. Do you remember those 350,000 meridians? There are meridians of lower energies, there are meridians of higher energies. The lower energies will be the dark meridians. The light in the tunnel will be dark. And next to those, there will be the light in the tunnel, bright light. So we have to keep on guide the soul to say, like, go, choose the light, go with the light, and so that to make this process easier for the soul. The God inside our heart, that's not the soul, but there is a piece of God, a drop of that immense ocean. It's in us, living in us. So that inner God's represented, just not represented, just really God, but just in that very small manifestation, it takes and leads the soul outside of the body, and our job is to really pacify the soul and tell the soul to choose the light. In this time, it's very painful because this is when also this unbuttoning happens, and the unbuttoning is really painful for the person. Now, when the soul, the person died and the soul is exiting, the soul is met by angels or how would we call them? Not the devils, but shayatin. Da? Yes, we would call that devils. We would draw them with the faces, ugly faces, with horns, with legs of the cow or of the goat, and with the tails and hairy bodies. My dears, all this is true because when the soul is dying, there is a battle for the soul between the powers of light and the powers of darkness. There are the in Hinduism, because Hinduism is a very personified religion. Behind every phenomena, behind everything, there is a personality that guides, that rules that phenomena. So the very same, there is a demigod of death, there is an angel of death, who is, I don't know in Christianity who is the angel of death, but in Hinduism there is this demigod of death called Yamaraj, the king, the lord of death, Yama, and he has his servants. And of course, the gods, the good angels also have their servants. So all the servants, they come and they start presenting to each other the good deeds and the bad deeds of this person, and trying to take the soul and to take it to the proper department. And actually, very often in the before dying people who are already on the last 100 meters, very often they say that they are seeing someone. They are just maybe even not conscious, but from time to time they wake up and they say that I saw the, sometimes they say, I saw the God's angels coming after me, like I want to go, or they are very afraid, saying that, oh my God, he is real. He sent his slaves, his servants to take me, these demons, these devils. And the person is very afraid. Really, these demons, these Yamadutas are coming to, let's say, to scare the soul, to scare the person, because the person is still alive, to scare the person with one single purpose. Come on, change your mindset. There is still one moment, there is still 1 hour, there is still maybe one day till your end. Make the right choice, choose the light, give away your, I don't know, your stupid anger, give away your, I don't know, I don't know, whatever that would be. In every case it's different. So they come to scare the person, to turn the person facing God. So that the person can die in a better manner, if we can say so. If the person, while dying, eliminates the urine or the intestines or vomits, it means the soul left the body through the through the down gates. Like, obviously this is not a very good way to end to exit the body. So obviously it's already understood that that soul, like, most probably it was another life wasted. If the eyes are opened, the person dies and the eyes are open, it means it left through the higher gates. And if the soul exits through the heart, the person dies with a smile on the face. In Hinduism, there is not tradition, but for example, very often Christian people are given a cross, yes, to hold or to kiss or just to hold, hoping that the cross will save them. The cross will only save if people believe in it. Otherwise, most probably it will not be of much help. But in Hinduism, there is a holy basil, and out of that holy basil, which is also called tulsi, people do beads. And these beads, holy basil is also a personified, amazing personality. Tulsi Devi, the biggest devotee of God. Tulsi Devi is very dear to God, and because of that much respect, and God granted her the power, and this power is also hidden in this Tulsi plant. And then if the beads are made of Tulsi plant, and they are saving the soul from the devil's slave. So the shaitan, the devil, cannot take that soul, even if it was kind of not really a pious or saint. So it's very important to die in those beads, even if you didn't wear them, but at least to die in those. And obviously here people can say, oh my God, okay, I know how. And you just you say, I will manipulate before death. I will just 1, 2, 3. I will do whatever I want while I'm living, but then I will just arrange that these beads, I'm wearing them before dying. Well, of course, it doesn't work that much. We can be smart, but believe me, God is much smarter than uh, um, uh, than uh, than us. So that is the point till where the science went. That is the tunnel with the light. And basically, the science explains that light at the end of the tunnel as the death of the optic nerve. But if it would be truth that it's the death of the optic nerve, then that light wouldn't be bright. It would be from bright into dimmer, and dying. But everybody who had near-death experience, who had clinic death, who were in the coma and came back, they all described that the light was brighter and brighter. So this is that light, that tunnel through which the soul goes out of the tunnel. So that is the point till where the science know. Beyond this point, nobody scientifically couldn't explain anything. Now the third stage. The third stage is this is the stage where the body of our senses, we have 5 senses: smell, eyes, seeing, tasting, touching. This body of the memory of these senses is erased. This stage is 40 days, 40 earthly days. Okay. Later, so the body, the subtle body of our senses is erased. Further, my dears, the intellect, the mind, and the ego are transferred, are preserved. They will be transferred into the next life. What is intellect? What is mind? And what is ego? I will explain this next time, but just in 2 words, intellect is the part of us, is the conscious part of us, which acts from the platform. This is healthy, this is useful, this is not. The mind acts from the platform. This I like, this I don't, and I don't care if it's useful or not. And the ego is our desires, which are different from God's desires. Basically, this is the devil inside us. These are the desires that make us suffer. The ego, the desires which are different from God's desires. I will talk about this next time. So these 3 bodies, subtle bodies, they are preserved. And during these 40 earthly days, on the level of the soul, they can be perceived as even 500 years. But on earthly level, these are only 40 days. So these are those moments when the soul is shown all these scenarios from the life where the soul committed mistakes. Again, those lessons are showed with the idea that the soul should understand, oh yes, I shouldn't have argued and I shouldn't have betrayed my friend, because yeah, I was wrong. She was right and I was wrong. Like, I understood. Yes, you are right. Okay. Or I say, what? She's right. Are you crazy? Like, no. I. And she was like this and I was like this. No, I was right. And the workers, the employers there will say, okay, let's watch again and again and again till the soul will really understand that actually, like, the soul will be shown this situation from all the possible ways just to understand that actually, no, I committed a mistake and my behavior wasn't right. And so this stage will last 40 earthly days, but on the non-material time, it can be 100 of years. Then this stage finishes with the arrival. All this way, all this process is shown to the soul on its way to the Pitri Loka. Pitri Loka is a realm, is a planet, if you want. It's a level, if you want, which is beneath the hell. There are in our universe, there are 14 levels. We are in the middle. So the first 7 are heavenly realms. This is why we say, oh, I'm in the 7th heaven of happiness. Why 7th heaven? I'm in the 7th heaven, because there are 7 heavens. I will talk about this next time. So we are on earth. We are the worst from the best, or we are the best from the worst, if we are talking about which is under the realm of earth, which are 7 hellish planets. So beyond hell, so the first new hell exists and heaven exists, but they are still material world. This is another image of the 14 levels of material world. This is all material world. Paradise is not spiritual world. There is no God in paradise, my dears. When we die, we don't meet God. This is the first bad news for today. In order to meet God, we have to go to the spiritual world. Spiritual world is outside this picture. This is why the goal is not to be born again, but the goal is to say, thank you, God. I understood that I was wrong by wanting to be in this material world. Now I don't want this material life anymore. I'm done. I just want to be close to you. And I will speak about this in details in the next levels. But now, so beyond, like here, beyond the hell, beyond the lowest hellish planet, there is the, let's say, the planet of the ancestors, Pitriloka. This is where the soul is heading. So the third stage of death, when it's these 40 days, we start moving towards Pitriloka. And we have a preliminary distribution. Every person, every soul is preliminarily distributed into the category of sinners or the righteous people. And the providers, yes, the providers of the who are taking the soul to the Pitriloka, they can enter the Pitriloka through the righteous people. We can enter through 3 directions: from north, from east, or from west. The sinners are presented to the Lord of Death, are entering the Pitriloka from the south. So, if the righteous people are being shown the movie of their life, the mistakes of their life as a movie, they are being shown their mistakes, and kind of they are again being convinced, like, here was right, here was wrong. Then the sinners are being shown, are taking through their mistakes, but in real feelings. they are experiencing all that pain that they have caused through their sinful acts. Do you remember that beautiful movie with not Tony Robbins, with Robin Williams? Okay, Robin Williams, Where Dreams Can Take. Do you remember when he comes and he goes to hell, and there are people, you know, there are heads shouting and screaming and crying? So this is that is the third stages. It's not hell. It's still not hell. So if the righteous people are just watching the movie, the sinners are participating in the movie. This is why the religions, Islam, Christianity, obviously Hinduism, are just saying that, come on, there is hell and there is heaven. You will be paying for, you will be suffering for the sins that you do. Better think. So who is presented to the Lord of Death, to the Yamaraj, from the northern gates? Those are people who died while doing their duty. Those are people on the duty. It means, for example, if it's a fireman, he died while on action, he goes through the northern. If this is a teacher and the teacher has a heart attack during the lesson, it's there, and so on. So if you die while completing your duty, then you go through the northern. If you are a soldier and you are executing the orders of your captain, even if those orders on the karmic level are wrong, still you are doing your duty and you are entering the lords of the death realm through the northern gates. Those who die in holy places and those who die in the proximity of saints or their spiritual teachers. This is why like it's a lot of people again want to manipulate, and when they feel they are dying old ages, they are going to holy places just hoping that, oh my god, I will die there and I will avoid hell. But in fact then something happens and the emergency takes them to the hospital, which is in another city, and still they are dying the way they should. So my dears, let's not try to fool someone because we will get fooled. The western gates are people who are not spiritual, who are not religious. They were just good, honorable people. Okay, good, honorable people. So they are going through western, and through eastern gates are those people who through their life they practice spirituality, they search for God, they had as a goal, you know, this spiritual growth, but for some, and it doesn't mean the confession, any confession, but for some reason they didn't manage to achieve their goal. So they were in the process of search of God, they died. They are entering through the eastern gates, and when the soul is approaching Pitriloka, they know that it's coming close because they hear the ringing bells. So I don't know what I mean, you see the ringing bells. For some reason, in the churches, the bells are used, you know. I mean, also you remember the Ernest Hemingway, for whom the bell rings. Like they are hearing the ringing of the bells. So for these three categories of people, of souls, starts the fourth stage of death. After the reaching Pitriloka, the fourth stage of death starts, but not for the sinners. For the sinners who enter the southern gates, they meet the Lord of Death in a very, very, very fearful and scary manner. Actually, we always have been presented death as something very scary and ugly. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita, it's written that God says that I am death personified. So death, depending how you lived, that in that beauty, death will come to you. If you lived a life of a bastard, then definitely you will see the face of the death will be very fearful, very scary. But if you lived a life of a good person, then the death is it's the most it's the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful demigod. Is demigod of death. I haven't seen this movie, Along with Gods, The Two Worlds. Will maybe we'll watch. So these sinners enter the southern gates, and the Yamaraj meets them in a very ugly and scareful form, and they are punished for breaking the rules of the element of the level where they were living. People don't keep on being in hell forever. Hell is only to purify. They just pay for their mistakes, and they are released from there. And people who commit a certain mistake for the first time, usually they are not sent to hell, but they are sent back to life, back into this material world, another life, and they are living hell on earth. They are put in the very same situational atmosphere which they created through their sins in the past life. So basically, they are living hell on earth, which is a soft, it's a light demi version of hell. Yes, because it's not concentrated. When you say mistake, can you give an example? Okay, I'm just giving an example, but any mistake, because, my dears, there are 26 types of hell. And when the same mistakes you keep on doing, then that time you will definitely go to hell. Yes, there are 26 types of hell. I will not describe for which sins, to which cattle you go, to which and in each hell the punishment is different. And this is my personal conclusion, but I am so sure that it's true. There is a hell where you are eaten by the reptiles, by the snakes, and so on. There is a type of hell that you are eaten by the rodents. So I really believe, there are people who are panically, who are just to death. Why we say, I am to death afraid of mice or of snakes. Okay, snakes, I understand, but mice, how can you be afraid of that little mice? But my mother, for example, she's like, she can really die just by knowing that she cannot watch at that mice if it's in the book, or TV or something. So I believe this is our memory. This is our memory from the times when we have visited those hells, and the fear was so much imprinted that till now, after many reincarnation, or maybe freshly, we are still afraid. After being distributed to a certain hell for a certain time, the soul gets back to the very same where the rest of the souls they have been, and for everybody starts the fourth stage. The fourth stage is when you literally meet the Lord of the Death, the Yamaraj, and you are writing What? The scenario of your next life. Surprise, surprise. You don't like being born in Lebanon. You don't like being born sick or poor or with your tyrannous mother or your horrible father. Oh my God. My dears, you asked for that. You with your own hand, you wrote your scenario and you asked, oh, please, Lord of the death, please just grant me this scenario because I need this in order to grow on the level of the soul, not of the body. So, my dears, um, we are presenting to the Lord Yamaraj, and the Lord Yamaraj has a secretary, Chitragupta. Chitragupta is the one who has all the records of all your good deeds and your bad deeds. And he's presenting all these two files to the Lord Yamaraj. And when Lord Yamaraj said that, oh my God, Radha wants to be the Queen of England. Queen of England, give me the files. And he takes the files. And he said, come on, Radha, with these marks, you want to be the Queen of England? Are you crazy? You cannot. I'm sorry. Like, I like you. Personally, I like it. But you cannot. And you say, like, come on, like, I really want, like, tell me what I have to do. And he say, in order to be Queen of England, you have to accumulate the currency, the divine, the spiritual potency, to accumulate those number of bonuses that you need to be born in a rich family, Queen of England, something. The Yamaraj says, you know what? 10 times you have to be born and to live the life of a saint. And only after that you will have enough resources in order to be born in a royal family. And I say, 10 lives of a saint. I say, no, no, no. But at least let me be a servant in the Birmingham, this Westminster Castle. I say, okay, for being a servant, like working in the laundry or like wiping cleaning the stairs of the Birmingham Castle. Yeah, you have enough resources. Okay, this is of course a joke, but what I mean, you can ask what you have, just like in the shop. You want something? Do you have the money for it? You have the money, you take. You don't have the money, you buy from the range that you can afford. The very say, no, you cannot borrow money. Absolutely not, Joseph. You cannot borrow money. You can earn them. Okay, so you write a scenario according to your needs for the next reincarnation, and you start searching for a woman, a wonderful woman, and a wonderful man whom you need as parents. And very often, the child is the one who connects a woman and a man, even for just one sexual relationship. And after that, the woman will never see the man again, but the child will be born because the child needed the experience of this man, he needs the experience of this mother, and he will need the experience maybe of the stepfather that he will have. The soul has the power of making such combination. Usually, the fastest when the soul can be reincarnated is 49 days, and the maximum, there is no maximum. The soul can wait for thousands of years when it's something special, and the mission is so special that he needs to. I mean, he, whatever the soul needs to wait for that special time or circumstances in order to be born. But usually average, the soul is reincarnated in during the next 6 or 9 months. 6 or 9 months. Ooh, my dears, you see, as usually I couldn't I couldn't keep the time frame, but just like I didn't want to split this block of information into more. I really didn't want to split, and I didn't want to be brief, because why to be brief? We are not kindergarten here just for me to show you the pictures. So you are grown-ups and the topic is too important, so it really needed more time. So I will, if you have any questions, you can keep on writing. I will read here. The 7 generations because of the main 7 chakras? No, absolutely no. The 7 generation, 126 members of our family. These, till this level, we are how to say, till this level, their impact is individually impactful on us. After the 7th generation, further, also they're our forefathers, but they don't. Their impact is not individual on us. Like kind of it's diluted. It becomes one stain. It's not individually like, oh, this great father gave me this trauma, and this great grandmother gave me these talents and skills. We can individually spot the members of the first 7 generation. After higher than 7 generation, it's all one liquid. It's not individually perceived by us. It loses the individual value for us. This is why it's 7 generation. What is the difference with what you say soul and what is usually referred as higher self? Higher self. Well, people might have different definitions for higher self, but I believe higher self mostly is defined by the consciousness. I believe, in my perception, that would be the consciousness, the higher self. The soul is inseparable, immortal, eternal. It cannot die, it cannot be separated. This is why, my dears, there is nothing called twin souls, one soul in 2 bodies. It cannot be. It can be 2 souls in 1 body, and it's called schizophrenia. Okay? But 1 soul in 2 bodies, we are twin flames. We just saw that mayonnaise and we liked it, and we are twin souls. It's not like that. Next time I will talk about soulmates, about the soulmates. It's not what people think. It's not what people say. Soulmates, it's our very important people in our life. And it's very interesting topic. I will talk about this next time.
Maybe one quick question.
Yes, please.
Is gender eternal, or like there is a possibility of?
No,
okay.
No. Gender is not eternal, because the soul has no gender. The soul is, the gender is only here related to our material world. The soul is above the gender, it's spiritual. So during the courses of reincarnations, the soul needs the experience of the situation seen in the body of the woman and in the body of the man as well. And it's said that in the body, and they are not like one life like this, one life like that. No, it can be several life like this, but it's interchanging. Yes, it's said that in the body of the man, the soul creates karma. And in the body of the woman, the soul processes karma. This is why in all cultures, it's kind of admitted that the destiny of the woman is much more harder than the destiny of the man. And it's really true, because the man creates all the mistakes. Then it's born in the body of the woman, and the woman processes, she does the laundry, karmic laundry. And then when she's light of all the big sins and all the big lessons, again, she enters the body of the man and again creating karma. So basically it's creating and processing. It's not
creating
gender, nationality, all these are so, it's like a game today. Now in the morning, okay, I'm a woman in the morning. For me, morning is from 6 to 9 o'clock, okay, 3 hours, sometimes it's 4 hours if I wake up earlier. So in the morning I change my morning robes, my morning everything. I can change it 3 times because I certain things I do. I like one robe, then I like to have my tea in another one, and I can have my breakfast in another one. I swear. So this is only human. What
it's
about
like a caste?
Yeah. So any people in very high position of power paid their due in previous lives. Very high position of power paid their due in previous lives. Let's say like this, John. It's kind, they did something good that made them have the resources of being today powerful, rich, or influential. My dears, not everybody can be rich, not everybody can be successful singer, writer, influencer, blogger, president. Not everyone. For that, you have to have those resources. Those resources, for example, how many times we say, oh my God, he's such a bad man. Look, he's building his business on, I don't know, traffic, drugs, killing, suppressing, whatever. Like, and he's so rich. He was allowed to have this power because in previous life he really did something good. But the question is, or the politicians, oh my God, look how he cheats, look how he did, and still he's, for the third time he's the president, or he has the deputy, or he's so rich, or he's like, and he's still lying. Of course, because in previous life he did something good, but in this life he didn't just entered the temptation of staying on the right side. But the question is, my dears, what will be with him in the next life? I'm telling you, I'm always like, it's not a joke. It's true. Don't be angry with the, let's say, if it's the case of politicians, don't be angry with the politicians, because tomorrow they will be beggars on all those traffic lights that you see today. It's not to be envied what they are doing. People are envying, or people like, criminals or something. Oh my God, like it's so inspiring. Like, look, I also want to be like them. And what? And how much, like, his food is tastier, or his relations are sweeter, or his something is better? Absolutely not. But next life will be hell for him, and he will say, oh my God, life is so unfair. Well, actually, it's fair. Can we practice dying with near-death experience so that when we actually die, we die well? Actually, you
That's
mean
tricky, no?
like how you can practice with near-death experience to artificially somehow induce this, or just if
No, there are places. No, I swear there are places. I think in the US, they allow you, like, you go there, like there's someone who's trained and whatever, and they help you do a near-death experience. Apparently, it's safe, but it could be interesting. I don't know.
like
So we see all the things that you're saying.
Joseph, near-death experience, you mean a change mental, I mean, physically, or I don't know.
Maybe emotionally, the fear factor control.
Look, I don't know, but I don't know like the details because I haven't done it, obviously. But like there's like you said it yourself. There's people that got clinical death, near-death experiences, etc. But some people actually do near-death experience, like to learn lessons from it or things like that. I will send you a link or two, like this.
Okay, I think yes, I think I understood what you mean. If let's say like this, practicing death as close as we can. Yes, as close as we can. Okay, since the topic is something, I will share something that I have never shared. But I also dug my grave. I also laid in a coffin, and I also was buried. So what to tell you, it's quite an experience that awakens you a lot, and that it's quite a wake-up call when like definitely it makes you more aware, and it's something that should be done. It's absolutely something that that should be practiced and trained and done, absolutely, because it's both fun and tears, and like it's yes, it's something that helps. I don't hear if somebody's okay, somewhere other questions.
My mother, in fact, before she died years ago, she prepared a white cloth that covers her body, all that stuff, and also the like organic, not box, but it's a foiling material to put the body to the grave. It's like a leaf kind of, but made like a garment type. So all that stuff was ready in her room, and so it was for years there, because she didn't die right away. But when she was active and everything, she prepared all that stuff. So she told us, what to get, where we can get each thing is, and what we do, to whom to talk first. So she was ready, like maybe
actually
7-8 years before.
Yeah, actually, I mean, in our tradition, the elders, I remember my grandparents, they had their suit for the coffin.
Yeah,
I mean,
suit,
for the death, they had it prepared. And I mean, oh my God, like how would they, I don't know. Now as a grown up, I'm getting back to those, because in childhood, I knew that wardrobe, it was upstairs, and there was everything new for the moment of of the death. And I know that yes, they had everything ready. And for example, in Christianity, when so the person dies, for 3 days the person will be in the house, and always day and night there will be someone there, maybe from the neighbors. Like, they will never leave the dead alone in the house, preferably, of course, to pray or to say something, to talk. But the person, the body is not left alone. So Thakurji says, don't need to practice death. When it comes, it will be perfect, tailored and customized according to your karmas gathered, the experience of life, because eventually it will lead to death. Absolutely, only that we die according to how we live, and unfortunately people live absolutely not up to the mark. And when you think that this is how you'll die, you better practice. You said, when we die, most of our desires and needs remain after the death. Is it possible to finish them during this life? Well, that's the point. That's the point, what I will talk a lot next time. That's the point, to not keep on creating new desires, because, my dears, all our desires will be satisfied. and you will not leave this earth until all of them will be satisfied. But the point is, they are satisfied when you don't need it anymore. So the thing is that we have to satisfy the desires that we have without creating new ones, because like this it will be a continuous spinning. Like you do one, but you create, by doing this you create 5 new, by doing that 5 new you create 25 new, and like you keep on getting back here again and again. This is why this is called awareness, this is called spirituality. When you understand, oh my God, yes, I was thinking that beauty will make me happy, I'm beautiful, but still it means it's not this. Yes, I thought like it's not about the beauty, it's about being rich. I was rich and still I was not happy. Then I said, oh yes, it's not about being rich, about being rich and having power. And I had power and still I was not happy. And this memory stays in your heart. And then you are born and you said, I don't want all this material anymore. I want to dig inside me. I want to know God. I want to help others. I don't want to gather for myself. God gives me a lot, but I feel happiness in sharing it to others. So like this, step by step, you cancel your own desires and you focus on giving yourself to others. And we will not leave this material world unless our negative karma is processed, but our positive karma as well. This is why when, let's say, the negative karma we process when we suffer, and the positive karma we process when we are getting, good environment, healthy, wealthy, enjoyment. This is how we are spending our good karma. It means when you have money, you can afford yourself Bali. When you don't have good karma, you are just going 8 to 5 p.m. and work. You are kind of, suffering. There are people, saints, let's say saints. I will give just one example, but plus minus, this is how it happens. The saint and observe that the life of the saints is so it's so painful. It's full of sufferings. Show me one saint who enjoyed, who was born in I don't know, Rothschild dynasty, and no, it doesn't happen. The saint is every sinner is a saint, will be a saint, and every saint was a sinner, so he suffers, but he changes the shift of not the world is wrong and I'm good, why I'm suffering, but he just admits, he forgets himself and he starts serving the others. And with the humbleness, with the sincere humbleness, he says, yes, this is I deserved, I like with humbleness he accepts this suffering without blaming somebody else. And so basically, let's say in a lifetime, this saint process that amount of bad karma, negative karma that they had. So basically he is ready to depart in the spiritual world, but there is a problem. And what is the problem? His positive karma. God says, like the angels say, like I'm sorry, but you still have money to spend, you have still bonuses, like we cannot, there you go naked, no negative, no positive, you have still to spend it. And he said, oh my God, please no, if I again will be born, and again with this good karma I will be born in a rich family, and again my desires, and again I will be tempted, because spending the good karma, you have been born in a good something. So the person is says, I don't want to create this good karma, don't want to enjoy. So what happens? The person is born, and the person dies as a child, because as a child they the children, why they say till 12, till 13 or 14 years old, they don't their sins are not considered sins, their karma is not considered. Next time, if you will remind me, I will tell you the story of how these 14 years came, this is why all the good karma is processed, and once it's expired, the person dies at a very young age. Why they say that a dead child is like an angel? Not because it's emotional, oh, my angel, no, it's an angel. This is why, yes, it's painful for the human side of us, but on the existential, on the spiritual, universal level, every death is a mystery, every death is needed, and the most tragic events have a meaning. My dears, thank you for being here. Thank you for being interested in making your life of a better quality. I don't know, I did my best. I'm sorry it was longer than expected, but I said the topic is such, and you kind of don't want to follow the protocol, but you just want to follow the heart of what is flowing from you, and the information, the knowledge is a lot, and I just better give it now, and you can process it in years' time, coming back to this video whenever you need. This is why, thank you very much. And for the next week, I will write on the Telegram channel the day, and I will tell you the rest of philosophical way of how our why we are born, what's the point of all this seek and hide, and what is the purpose, how our fine bodies are built, those buttoning, unbuttoning. Also, it's very interesting. So I'm wishing you a very conscious life, so that your death is very much happens in a beautiful way. Be happy, my dears.
Thank you, Radha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.